Hope she is fine and happy today. Bob has been dead 9 years. Mainly due to a knee replacement. I think of him often. I would love to have a boyfriend.
He died during a knee replacement. He must have had.
Or she has a knee replacement.
He says
and a pain
she blames it on a knee replacement. He didn't die as a result of one.
But she blames the knee replacement.
Later on, he died.
Because a knee replacement will kill you.
I love to have a boyfriend. I could like love.
She could use one. Good luck.
It's not happening.
Good luck is right. All you have to do is ask Helen how she is.
Yeah, he's going to run out the door.
I have a male date friend for any time I want anything, but neither of us has any feelings for the other. He is the age of my sons. Oh, jeez.
He is the age of her son?
That's what she says.
Oh, my Lord.
Getting ready to start reading about Steve Jobs. I understand this book is short and cannot be put down. I never see nor hear from anyone in our class. There is
I can tell you why.
There is a group in Genna Park which meets monthly at Paddo's for lunch. All from GP school in a year. Do you go?
Genna Park. Yeah, I've heard people.
I have heard they have a ball.
Those, yeah.
My best to you and your family, Helen.
Well, she is invited because that's automatic. If you were Genna Park, she knows the days that they go.
Then
it's like every other. Then she should go.
Instead of complaining about it.
Yeah, what the hell?
Just show up. I mean, you know everybody.
She'd rather complain.
Yeah. Those that with a guy her son's age, oh God.
Reading a book about Steve Jobs. I understand he was right successful at one time.
Yeah, right.
I bet that would be an interesting book.
It would be.
Mm-hmm. Brilliant.
That's the American dream, starting something out of your garage.
That's right, and making it. That's how brilliant he was.
With a hope and a prayer. Maybe a partner or two.
Mm-hmm. Would you invite her to Paddo's, Dad?
No, Paddo's is not where we go.
I know y'all don't go to Paddo's, but
this
is a mixture.
This is another, yeah.
Men and women at Paddo's.
She was asking Ned if he goes.
Did Ned answer?
Yeah, he answered, but I don't know what he said. I don't think he goes.
With them. We were at Gloucester Wednesday.
Y'all were in Gloucester?
Mm-hmm. One of the high school reunion girls.
Were y'all by the river?
Oh yeah, Maggie lives right on the point. This was her family.
Boy, I bet that was a view.
Oh, it's gorgeous. It's just
absolutely.
Beautiful. And Maggie's family, her mom and dad, this was their home. And Margaret used to have a house here in Richmond. But she spent most of her time down at the river, where she grew up.
Sure, why not?
She decided that
too.
she was going to move. Well, we all thought she'd lost her ever-loving mind. She's your age, your dad. And and it's away from everybody else. You go down this little dirt road and everything else.
It would be.
And so you have to drive, quite a bit to go to the grocery store to get anything. And we thought, Maggie, do you really want to move down there by yourself? Yeah, I really
Well, she's got a nephew who lives in the next house.
Well, anyway, it was the best thing in the world ever happened to her. She has never been happier. She's been divorced for years and years and years. She's very self-sufficient. She is not the shape of Margaret, but as strong as Margaret. It is nothing that Margaret cannot do.
She does bateau down the James River. These bateau rides. And
they start out.
Yeah, and she's been doing that for years. They have an all female one, and she's on that one. She skis all over the place.
Oh, she's amazing.
Remember the Richmond Ski Club?
Richmond Ski Club.
She's just something.
She is something, and she knows everybody, and she keeps up like Carolyn. Keeps up with everybody in TJ and friends.
Well, it's now easier to do with this.
Yeah, well, she's just wonderful.
She's been lucky that she
So anyway, she decided to have, instead of the TJ reunion group, the Genna Park. reunion group. So she got a hold of all of us in that area and said, I want to have a get together. And everybody brings something. Well, the reason for it is one of the friends that your dad grew up with in Gunner Park, who became a minister.
Scott Kirby.
Scott and his wife were coming into town, and they were going to come down to the river and stay with Margaret.
For a couple of days. Yeah.
And for a couple of days, and therefore, because that was a good excuse to have this party. And they were the honor guests.
Right.
So anyway, that's what we did. So she contacted everybody. Everybody she invited came, and my Jimmy Blase is, if you remember seeing my annual, I was a sponsor of a cadet corps company, C company. Well, my Jimmy, the captain, was there with his wife Bobby, and they live in Smithfield, Virginia.
Oh,
now.
wow.
So,
just up the road.
I mean, it was just so much fun that you walked in, and it was like you
The
never
people
left each
that
other.
were there had a long time connection with Scott. Scott and I, of course, were in the same class in school all the way through high school. But we were also went to the same church. We both went to the Lutheran church. We're in the youth group together. We, all that kind of stuff.
So you really had a
went through
connection.
catechism.
Well, all of them there had some really tight
Catechism
connection
like
with
that. John
Scott and his
Thompson
wife.
lived down the street from Scott, and he and Scott and John's dad used to go hunting, quail hunting, and together all the time. So, there were big connections.
And Johnny is one of your dad's fraternity brothers, and he and Tommy, his wife, we were all pinned together at UVA. I mean, it's just a connection
Yeah.
that is so special.
And John, and of course, John grew up down the street from me, as did Scott.
And he's been wonderful to your dad, and so is Scott.
Yeah.
Long distance. And where do they live now?
Eau Claire, Wisconsin. He's a retired
Wow,
Episcopal
He
priest.
calls him, he emails
And
him. He has prayer groups for him, and he sends the paper to show. Oh, he's been wonderful ever since he heard that Buddy was sick. He's been right there on top of
And
it.
even though he's retired as a priest, he does all these interims and things.
Right,
So
right.
he really is
So he's not really retired. He's involved in all kinds of stuff.
It's like a lawyer, they never really retire.
Yeah, same idea. But anyway, it was great seeing Scott again. I hadn't seen him.
He looked good.
Ages.
He looked good, yeah, but I hadn't seen him
His
in
wife
years.
was adorable, a little tiny thing.
But
Guess in Wisconsin you wouldn't have.
but so we had a lot of connections when we were growing up.
But yeah, now they still are connected because he
Well,
has
they're always
got a hold of
connected.
Buddy. Yeah,
You're always
yeah,
connected
Yeah.
to the people that you grew up with.
So it was just a fun group. We just had the best time, and it was as if you never left each other. And you would talk about the good old days, and then the guys went into the living room, Johnny and Scott, and who else was in there with you?
It was Scott and John and Robert Marshall, Polly's husband.
Oh yeah, Polly's. Polly also grew up in the neighborhood, right?
Yeah, she was Polly Thompson. She lived across
and
the street
she's real
from
good friends of Carolyn now.
from Dick Stevenson. She lived right sort of catty-cornered across the street from him. That's where her.
So the guys were in the living room, and of course Maggie has this huge long porch.
Yeah, whole length of the
The
house.
whole length of the house. She's added on since Mom and Dad.
But this
left
is
her.
the family home.
This was the.
Oh yeah, this has
family.
been the family.
Rubber
I think her grandfather originally
So
bought.
you're talking something that's close to 100 or so
Oh,
years
yeah.
old.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And it's adorable. It's absolutely
You
adorable.
see why they wanted to keep it in the family.
Absolutely. And of course she loved it. It's like Bobby Mayfield's place down at the river. He loves it more than anything in the world.
Sure.
So when she
I
moved,
can
she
see that.
decided to add on, and she showed us the beginning of where the porch was much smaller. They had a long porch, and she has the long tables that a whole bunch longer than
So she
picnic
can entertain and have
entertain and all
everybody.
that. And it could not have been a better day because it was low humidity. She was so scared. She said, "Oh Lord, please don't let it be as hot
Maybe a
as
nice
it's been."
breeze off
And
the
a
water.
nice breeze. It was beginning to drizzle. So it was an overcast. You didn't have the heat. And she thought, can you imagine having 15, actually it was 15 couples, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, 30 people in the living room. And the living room's not that big. So the guys were in the living room and they were sitting there talking. Of course, Scott was real interested in his new protocol and what was going on. Johnny, who has been absolutely wonderful to your dad, he was one of the first when he got home from the hospital to bring another friend over to visit. And I left and then, so that the guys could talk. And in the course of the conversation, Johnny has had a lot of health problems. He's a nice looking man, very about the same size as your dad and so forth. Has had a lot of health problems himself. And I said, buddy, this is one of the reasons why he has been so attentive. He knows. He's been there. He's had some health problems.
He has to take these shots every day. He's been doing it for 2 years.
He's taken the same shot for blood clots.
For 2
like your dad.
He's been doing it
and
for
I'm
2
so
years.
glad there's somebody else, doing that. And the only difference is poor Johnny has to wear these sub-hose that come all the way up to his thighs.
What time is this that you come up here? How many times has it been?
I come up here about once a day.
So total.
I'll just check emails and things like that.
What's today total?
This is the first time I've been up here today.
No, like how many times have you gone up here to play with it?
She said,
today? Oh, just ever?
Well, total, like the days.
Oh, maybe since we've had this thing, maybe 10 times.
A minute, like a flea. But she said, boy, this is when, you have to suck it up and say,
Do you like it?
I'm getting
Yeah.
old.
As soon as I learn how to do a few more
Your
things
head
on it.
says no until you start.
What else do you want to know?
She said, it
I want to know how to add
but anyway,
people to my groups from this computer. And I can't do it.
There's no can. There's a special kind of way you do
I
it.
know it, but I don't know how to do it. That's what I'm saying.
Last week.
Yeah.
I said, Jimmy,
Let's see.
we were going to do it 1 year, but I found out that you were there, and I had missed that reunion because
I just don't know. There's something. I know
Yeah.
there's a way to do it. But
I have it on the tip of my tongue. Just can't.
I want you to come in and see Bob.
so these are all of my.
Well, I think
I don't have my
maybe
groups
like
on
you
here.
choose the ones that you
One summer.
want, like just click on
Well, the
people
problem
that you
is,
want
the
and
problem
then
when I have
add
it listed,
them.
it doesn't have my groups. Listen, it's just everybody that I have on my contacts list is in here, but it's not separate.
Maybe like
my group.
edit or something.
That'll just edit this one right here. But I'm trying.
About
You add, so you want to add somebody.
none of these buttons would work.
We might do that, Jimmy.
See the display mode. That doesn't help you.
And so forth.
Set the display
The funny
mode.
story about that, Bobby and Jimmy were
And
Maybe double click the name.
one thing that I did find out, I did see the
and this
other
was
night. Let me see if I can.
Of course, Jimmy is 57,
get
like
it.
your dad.
I don't think it really has anything to do with anything up there. It's just this whole
No,
thing.
it doesn't. What I'm looking at is let me get my emails.
And then I think you told me something.
Yeah.
This thing is fast, man.
And they ended up,
And
what happened, the reason why I'm telling you this now,
let's see. I want to do a new one, so let's.
During that tiff, we went out. Jimmy and I were never girlfriend or boyfriend. We were more friends. And Bubba Davis used to live behind on North Carolina.